Strategy is basically based on 5 different dimensions. What is important is to understand this is a growth strategy. We want to grow very fast. I'll show you the targets after, but basically our intention is to grow at a pace of 7 to 10% per annum organically, plus an additional 3 to 4% from acquisition. And we want to do that while not sacrificing on margin. That is really the summary. And interestingly enough, the recipe number 1 for this growth strategy is drive competitiveness. It is really extremely important for us that if we don't remain competitive, if we are not able to offer and to compete with our Chinese competitors, with our Korean competitors, and also Western competitors that become very good, we will just be wiped out. So it is really very important that we keep investing in R&D to make sure that we control that. Then we have, and I will develop this team, so I'll just list them here, capitalizing on megatrends, continue to expand in what we have. I think it's very important we love our portfolio. There is no intention to change anything to the portfolio. We think that everything we have we want to keep, and we don't see the need at this stage to start developing a third pillar next to power and automation. There's still so much opportunities here that we don't need to look for other green grasses somewhere else. We'll do some M&A still, but in a disciplined way. And finally, we want to continue strengthening and even increasing our leadership in terms of R&D and technology to find these disruptive opportunities that can totally change the market and give us again a competitive edge. So as I said, the first part is driving competitiveness, very important. So what we do here is basically we have to more and more develop products for the specific markets where we want to sell them. The times where we could have a central research location designing, say, a transformer, for instance, and trying to sell it everywhere in the world is gone. And we have to adjust to that. And to give the Swedish example, it's hard to say, but it is true. We are, for instance, you take China. We are manufacturing transformers in China, we are engineering transformers in China, but if we keep designing these transformers in Sweden or in Germany, they are still too expensive for the Chinese market. We have to go there, listen to exactly what the customer wants, and design what he is ready to pay for. Any extra is not paid for, and that helps. So we have to delocalize part of this research. On the other side, we increase in other segments to keep penetrating more the European market, and that obviously is quite important too. So in country for country is very important. Continue to adjust the footprint to where the market is, and obviously that means as well keep improving in terms of headcount. It's clearly a balancing act that has to take place. We have also, the example I gave about designing products for the market also means that we have to slightly change the strategy of ABB. You know that historically, and that comes already back to the ASEA times, we've been extremely decentralized. We have had an organization that is very much factory-driven, and our factories have been very successful in exporting to emerging markets and really develop this high technology for the new markets as well. As I say, competition is changing more and more, and so we have tried now more and more to try to refocus a little bit by commercial areas. So in the future, it will be more and more difficult for a European-based factory or European-based research center to remain competitive in Asia or even in the US because of the cheap US dollar. So what we are trying now is to build more footprint and research possibilities in each of these time zones, and then we incentivize all people to focus more on their domestic markets and continue to develop market share. I think it was a difficult message to pass, but it has now been fully understood, and in fact everybody sees that this is the potential. You know, either we can continue hitting the wall, and sooner or later we're going to have to take drastic measures to remain competitive, or we anticipate that and we will go. You know, Europe is still a market where a lot of investments are taking place, and we want to continue gaining market share in that, and that is the focus of this message. I talked about operational excellence. The pictures you see here is the same factory before and after. That is how you can really gain a lot of productivity and reduce your cost of poor quality in a plant. So there's a lot of efforts we do there. We're also much more now following with our customers to get input from them. We have implemented a methodology called Net Promoter Score, where we regularly survey our customers to see where are the areas of friction and dissatisfaction, and we try to follow up much better than before. You know, I'm not an engineer, so I always joke saying we are finally moving our way a little bit from the engineering concept and stop telling our customers what they need. We just listen, and sometimes it helps as well to improve the margins and serve the products that they really want to buy. I talked a little bit about supply chain. It's obviously very important. If you are a global company like ours, you source in different places, your market moves. So we have done a lot of effort to build an integrated supply chain function, reducing the number of suppliers to increase our leverage possibilities, and also really trying to train a lot of people within the organization to better optimize the cost, because really logistics and supply chain is a very high expense in a global company like ours, and I think we have done really good progress in that regard. I talked about customers, the Net Promoter Score, very important one. We have already surveyed more than 70,000 customers across the world. It's very simple. You know, it takes 5 minutes for a customer to answer this question. Basically, you know, we ask them, the major question is, would you recommend ABB, or would you never recommend to one of your friends to buy from ABB? We kind of take them the most active recommendation, the most negative one out of there, get the score, and then the customer gets just a few points that he can assign to say, okay, what is really the point that irritates him the more in dealing with ABB. We've then put a discipline in place to force people to follow up. So within 5 days, they have to basically contact the customer and say, hey, I got your message, I'm working on it and trying. And we really see now, as we do these surveys on a regular basis, that we start improving. And that is important, because at the end, that is how you create a difference. So very encouraging developments from that point of view. So that was a strong position that we keep working on for the future. And we've tried to graph that in this chart, where basically we have translated this megatrend in 12 priority growth areas. You see the horizontal part of the chart is the potential size of the market, the vertical is the speed of growth, and so you recognize here a few things that are really key. Everybody speaks about smart grid. Yes, it is important, but it has also become a bit of a fashion word, so you have to be very careful how you characterize it, and that's why we put it as a high growth area, not necessarily a huge area in terms of size, but for sure something you have to be positioned here. Market penetration is still the biggest one. Very important that we keep doing that, hence in-country for country strategy. You see oil and gas frontiers, quite important, renewables, industrial automation, data centers. You have them all listed here. That is really where we're going to focus our R&D efforts and our selling efforts for the 5 years to come in order to capture this mega trend and surf on the wave ahead of all our competition. At the same time, as I said, we have to continue developing our core business. As I always say, we do acquisitions, we try to find new technology. The most important for us is this $40 billion existing business that delivers $6 billion of EBITDA every year. We have to continue doing that in the future. Service today is about 16% of total revenues. Our intention is to bring it to 25% by 2015, which means more than doubling the size of service business. We think that HVDC and FACTS, two technologies which really are being nurtured here in Sweden, will be the key technology driver in the power business in the future, so we want to continue investing in that too, and then really keep focusing on what we call the vertical markets, which is all these end-user segments like wind, like solar, like rail, like water, that will become extremely important for the future too. We have as well invested quite a lot in software. What we had in the past, ABB, was what you see on the right side. We had operations, technology, software, helping, for instance, in the infrastructure operators for their transmission grid operation, for their distribution grid operation, or for the power generation itself. Now with the acquisitions that we have done, like Ventix, like Mincom, we're also able to bring the IT part of the equation. So it's the IT and the OT merging together, and that really help for the plant operations, for the design engineering, for managing the workforce, and for more remote operations that you can do. In the future, if you don't have this combined offering, you are not a player anymore. And I think that's why it was very important for us to acquire this capability and to start thinking software software with a software mentality in ABB, and not software like pieces of embedded software in a hardware piece that we sell as a product. And that is a major difference now that I think we have done a big transition towards the right direction.